Good afternoon, sir. My name is Asma, and we are from Group 5 Construction Economics 2. Today, we are going to present on our project cost plan presentation, which has prepared by Hadi Farhan, Luqman, Hakim, Muhammad Adam Bukhari, Nurhidayah, and also myself, Asma. Okay, next slide. Okay, first of all, the brief of the project are as stated, where it is the construction of one unit of two-story bungalow at Kuala Terengganu. The project is on 2021 and it is proposed by a private client. The total GIFA for the project is 195 meters square, and the proposed cost that we calculated is about 1,210,523 ringgit. And this is the drawing for our proposed project. Okay, next slide. Okay, next, let's take a look on our project brief of ECA that we use as a reference to our cost plan. Okay, so the project name is the construction of one unit of 2.5-story bungalow at Putrajaya. The year of the project is during 2010, which has 9 years different from our proposed project. The project client is also proposed by the private client. The GIFA for the project is 653 meters square, and the proposed cost of the project based on the ECA is 2,075,800. Next, I will pass the presentation to Hadi Farhan.
Thank you, Asma. Next, we move on the cost planning highlight. Okay, for the total cost, which is said by Asma, is 1,210,523 ringgit. So we divided the group element into 6, which is the first one is the substructure element. We're using the element unit rate approach for the calculation, which is for this element, it has the highest cost for the individual element and the second highest for the group element, which is at 268,596 ringgit. Next, for the second group is the superstructure group element. Also use the element unit rate for the calculation. It consists of frame, upper floors, roof stairs, external wall, and etc. For this group element, it has the highest cost, which is at 390,408 ringgit. The stairs, which is the individual element, has the lowest cost, which is at 8,884 ringgit. Okay, the third group, which is the finishes group, we're using the element unit rate approach for the calculation. It consists of wall, floor, and ceiling finishes. This group is the third highest group for the cost, which is at the 180,172 ringgit. The next group is the fittings and finishing, which is for this purpose project does not provided. The fifth group is the services group, which is we using the GIFA approach for the calculation. It consists of sanitary appliances, water installation, and electrical installation. For this group element, is at the lowest cost, which is at 136,376 ringgit. The last group is the external work, also using the GIFA approach for the calculation. It consists of the site works, drainage, and external services. This group has the second lowest cost for the group element, which is at 145,303 ringgit. Next, I pass to the Luqman.
Thank you, Hadi. So we move on to the highest cost and the lowest cost for individual element. So for the highest cost belongs to the substructure element, which consists one of the most highest element unit rate, which is 1,552 ringgit and 75 cents. And this substructure element covers high area of element unit quantity, which is 172.98 meter square, and it includes the works of pad footing, ground beam, and slab. And for the lowest cost belongs to the stair element, which has the lowest element unit quantity, which is 10 meters square, and only involve reinforced concrete works, and only consists one unit of flight and landing. I pass to Adam Bukhari.
Thank you, Luqman. Now I'll be presenting the comparison between the existing building and the new building. First of all, we have to bear in mind that the existing building was built in 2010 and the new building is in 2021. All right, we start off with the gross floor area, which is the existing building is 653 meters square, while the new building is only 195 meters square. Right, moving on to the total cost of the both of the buildings, which is the existing building is 2,075,800 ringgit, while the new building is 1,210,522 ringgit. From here, we can see that due to the duration of time and the fluctuation of material prices, we can see that for the price of half of the existing building, you can only get 200 meters square of a building from the price. All right, moving on to the substructure. For the existing building is 242,988 ringgit, while the new building is slightly higher, which is 268 ringgit, 268,596 ringgit. Next is the superstructure, where there is almost 200,000 ringgit in difference, which the existing building is 602,158 ringgit, while the new building is 390,408 ringgit. All right, moving on to the finishes. The existing building is 372,112 ringgit, and the new building is 180,172 ringgit. All right, moving on to the services. For the existing building, it's 400,261 ringgit, and the new building is 130,376 ringgit. All right, for the external works, it is 363,830 ringgit for the existing building, and for the new building, it is only 145,303 ringgit. Lastly, we move on to the preliminaries, which is for the existing building is 93,481 ringgit, while the new building is lower than the existing building, which is 89,668 ringgit. All right, moving on to the next slide. Next, we will be comparing between the specifications between the existing building and the new building. All right, we start with before we start, we'd like to say that from what we can see here is the difference between the existing building and the new building is the new buildings, they focus more on the minor things, where we can see in the external wall for the existing building, it is only half and one brick wall and cavity wall in clay bricks, while the new building, they added a dam proof course for the half brick wall. Next, for the work below lowest floor finish is a vibrated reinforced concrete grade 35 in pile cap and vibrated reinforced concrete grade 35 in base, retaining wall, beam and slab. While the new building, you can see that it is 25 mm thick cement runner on concrete floor slab on layer of dam proof membrane on 150 mm thick well compacted hardcore, reinforced concrete ground beam and footing with one layer of anti-termite treatment. You can see for the new building, they added a layer of dam-proof membrane and another layer of anti-termite treatment. Next is for the site works. For the existing building is earthwork, surfing, road, fencing, retaining wall, and reinforced concrete step and ramp. But the new building is almost the same as the existing building, but except they added a landscape for the new building project to make the site even better. Next, I will pass on to my next groupmate, Hidayah.
Okay, thank you to Adam Bukhari. So I will continue with the summary of our findings. Firstly, cost plan is not an impossible thing to be produced, and it is very important for us to give an early vision to the client on the proposed cost for the intended project. And to produce the cost plan, we need to have several data such as the ECA and the drawing, and also in this assignment we also use the information from the JKR for the index. Number two, in order to compute the cost plan for our proposed project, there are many methods, but for the choices, we choose it based on the availability of our data to merge with the formula in the method. Next, in order we computing the cost plan, we also do some adjustment because it is very necessary. This is because the project is different due to the material used, the time of the construction, and also the location, so that we can achieve the closest cost to the most accurate cost for the project. And lastly is about the cost plan itself. We find that cost plan is a document that is valid for a long time because all the element in the cost plan is the fundamental of a construction project, regardless the advancement of the construction technology. Because whether the technology is high or is low, the element will still be the same, where there will be substructure, superstructure, finishes, and also the services and all. So I think that's all from our group. Thank you.